Oh, I did it again. Went to go out on the bike, thought, yeah, great, pulled the bike out, got everything ready, all the cameras attached, pulled my gear on, thinking I'd just walk out the door, jump on the bike and go. Realised I forgot my phone. I was upstairs, up the stairs, full gear, down the stairs, because I left my wallet somewhere, couldn't find it. Realised then, when I went to check the GoPro, I hadn't got the SD card in it. So I had to go find that. So basically, running around the house in full gear, sweating my bollocks off before I get out the door and get on the bike. But look, we're out and about. And the problem is I'm actually out of practice. I'm out of practice because the world is upside down and we're still in this COVID nightmare, and I've become one of those people I never ever thought I would be. I'm a person with multiple bikes who rarely gets to ride them. And to explain that, you have to understand that I use a bike for everything. When I was commuting into work 5 days a week, bike. When I was running errands at the weekend, bike. Long time since I've actually owned a car myself. Because back when shit hit the fan in what? 08, 09. I had a bike, I had a car, and I could only afford to keep one. And I found the bike much more practical because I hate traffic. That's pretty much, well, not pretty much the only reason, that's a big reason why the bike went out. Plus, they're just way more fun. Just way more fun to ride bikes than to drive cars. Yeah, that's the way it's always been. That's how I lived. So I've gone from being on the bike minimum 5 days a week, mostly every day of the week, to yeah, weeks between actually getting out and turning a wheel. I'm not gonna lie, it's very strange. It's a bit unsettling because when I do hop up, or when I do go out on the bike, I'm completely out of my routine and I'm out of practice and I'm forgetting stuff left, right and centre. And yeah, I end up being a hot, sweaty mess leaving the house. But look, fingers crossed, it's about to change. I know there's some place in the world where they're pretty much back to normal now, bar a few precautions, like Australia, which is great. Ireland, we're not there yet, we're nowhere near there. We're still in lockdown, although the last time I had a vlog up, I was limited to going max of 5k from my home, unless I had a valid reason, which we talked about. Now I'm actually allowed to travel within my county, which is great because there are some good little roads I can get down in the evening, have a bit of a spin, clear the head. But like I said, it could be 2 or 3 weeks before I get a chance to get out on the bike anymore. So when I go out, I'm finding myself quite rusty. But anyway, the impediment to us getting to like the stage of Australia is vaccinations, or vaccine supply specifically. We've had a bit of a rough time. So Ireland, part of the EU, we got, mandated our certain allocation, and then the companies like AstraZeneca have failed to deliver on their targets. And I'm not going to have a rant at like I'm not going to have a rant at the medical companies because, well, actually I am, but only one specific section of the medical companies, because I'm pretty sure I would put money on what I'm about to say being accurate. I imagine that when things were at the highest and people were screaming for vaccines, when are we going to have a vaccine, blah blah, and companies like AstraZeneca were at the table with the politicians, those salespeople took a very ooh, that's nice, I haven't seen that before. How have I? This is what I love about Ireland. Like, you're just bombing down a random back road that you haven't been down before, and you just come across like ruins and history, and you know there's a story there. And if I have time later on, I might look it up. Oh shit. Where was I? Yes. Medical companies, they're at the table. They set their sales guys in, and politicians went, we need as many vaccines as you can give us. How many can you give us, and how quickly can you get them to us? And the sales guys probably had a discussion. Well, the sales guys had a discussion with the technicians, the medical side of the business, and they said, how fast can we make vaccines? And they said, well, an engineer somewhere said, well, we can make, I don't know, 100,000 vaccines per hour. And the sales guy went, great. The sales guy then took that number and said 100,000 vaccines per hour. There are 24 hours in a day, so that's 2.4 million vaccines per day that we can make. And just for shits and giggles, because this is what sales guys like to do, they rounded it up to make it sound a bit better. So they probably said, oh, we can do 2.5 million vaccines a day, or maybe worse, 3 million vaccines per day. And they went into that meeting and they said, we can give you 3 million vaccines per day. So by this date, we will give you 30 million vaccines or whatever. And the politician went, great, here's a blank check. And they went back, sales guys went back, and good news, we've sold the vaccine. And nobody was surprised, because that was always going to be a given. What was the surprising part was, oh yeah, by the way, we have to deliver 30 million vaccines in X amount of time. And the technicians kind of went, what the fuck? Excuse you? That's not how this works. We have production line downtime, we have random issues that pop up. Yeah. And the sales guys went, well, you got to figure it out, because we've taken their money and we've given them a commitment. And that's why every time a deadline has arrived, it's made a whooshing noise as its sails past. Oh Jesus, another ruin. This is deadly. A little history tour I'm on here. It's made a whooshing noise as it sailed past everyone's head. Which way is Maynooth? Oh, it's this way. So yeah, don't blame the technicians, blame the sales guys. And you say, oh, that's a bit unfair, and sales guys, blah, blah. Like, well, I've seen it happen. My day job is IT, and many years ago, I was asked along for a site visit for a potential new customer. We were pitching for business, so I had to look at their current infrastructure, make recommendations, and you know, try and work out exactly how much the contract was going to cost, add our margin on, etc. Yeah, and then basically architect the solution and deliver it. Anyway, long story short, I'm on site, the sales guy's there with me, and he's chatting away to the boss lady. And she's like, oh, our systems are shit, we need X, Y, and Z. And I went, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, great, this is all perfectly doable. And in the back of my mind going, it's a little expensive if you want exactly this, but hey, happily take your money. So I finished my survey. We went into this final sit-down meeting with boss lady. And I was scribbling some notes because, you know, sales guy and her, they were just talking. He was just shooting the shit, trying to blow smoke up her hole. And I'll never forget, she said to the sales guy, I want champagne taste with little beer prices. And I was, without even looking up, I just off the cuff said, no problem. It'll taste like piss though. And a couple of seconds later, I noticed the mood in the room had changed, and I looked up and they both were staring at me. And she was like, what did he just say? And the sales guy had to do his best, like, oh, he's, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, don't be worrying about him, like, he's just a tech guy, blah, blah. Anyway, by the time I got back to the office, I ordered an email from my boss going, come see me when you get back. And I got a bit of a rollicking for that. And basically my point was, look, we can do everything she wants, but if she doesn't want to pay for it, we're not going to do it out of the goodness of our hearts. We have to make money here. And the sales guy's idea was, yeah, but look, we get her on the books, and then we can make more money down the line. I was like, this business has infrastructure that's 10 years old. Servers that have been out of support for 5 years. And basically their comms array was being held together by best wishes and some duct tape. I says, she is going to buy one solution from us and then not look at it again for another 10 years. So we'll cut our nose off on the pricing and not make any money out of it, actually lose money in the deal at the price you're quoting, and we'll never make it back up. And they went off to discuss, and they came back and went, do the job at the price. I was like, God damn it. Why would anyone listen to the tech guy? Anyway, so yeah, long story short, that is what I believe happened with the vaccine supply. The friggin' sales guys got involved, made promises, their mouths wrote checks, their bodies couldn't cash, and they turned and said, well, it's not our problem, we've done our bit. But look, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine has been approved. I think it has. I'm only half listening to the news anymore because it's quite depressing. So fingers crossed we'll start to make some progress in getting the numbers up. Although we did crack 1 million there the other week, which is good. We'll leave it there. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We'll see you in the next one.